Hey guys, Joe Hubbard here, bringing you part 6 of making a Warwick bass. In this episode, what we're going to do is take a look at some highlights from the end of production procedure for my Warwick JHB Signature Bass. You know, it feels so long ago now since I first went to the Warwick factory back in October of last year to meet with Marcus Spangler, who's the head designer from both Warwick basses and Framus guitars. We both sat down for days discussing all the fine details that I was looking for in a signature instrument. You know, it's funny because the other day I saw a post on Talk Bass about what actually constitutes a signature bass and why do so many guys have signature instruments but you always see them playing something else. For me, I've always pretty much been a one bass kind of guy, so when I get this bass, this is going to be my main axe because 35 years of my own personal experience of playing pretty much everything out there, along with 35 years of Warwick's expertise in the world of making quality instruments, has created 70 years of combined wisdom when it comes to building this signature instrument. So we're picking this up at the end of production, and you can see here that this guy is drilling the strap lock system into the bass. I've always really loved this flush mount system that Jim Dunlop has made, and I've used that system pretty much throughout my whole career. I've tried a couple of the other ones, but I really like this Jim Dunlop flush mount strap lock system. It seems to be kind of an industry standard, and I don't like the ones that stick out too much, you know, from the bass. You can see that goes flush to the bass. You can see there he's attaching the neck, and that view there gives us a nice bird's eye view of how that scoop is going to work in context when the neck is bolted onto the bass. So he's there putting in the nuts and the washers, and then he's going to go ahead and screw that down. I'm really looking forward to trying that and really seeing how that plays. It looks absolutely fantastic and almost seamless connection between the neck to the body, and that's the type of thing that I'm looking for. So you can see here the jack plug is being inserted, and you know, like a surgeon with his surgical gloves, he's sort of connecting all the stuff in here. And it has to be said again, these little attention to detail for things like this. I mean, I've had so many high-priced basses, and the jack plug hasn't been right, or it's crackled, or it's not soldered on correctly. And all these little things that really make a difference once you have the bass, okay? This is why I ended up going with Warwick in the end, because their commitment to quality is just second to none. You can see how that circuit cavity is carved there. There's no splinters. You know, a lot of times when you see the inside of a circuit cavity, it's kind of done half-assly. Everything is perfect. Now he's flipped that over. It's kind of becoming a bass now. You know, you really see what's going on. He's cutting off a bit of wire here. He's going to insert this wire underneath where the bridge is going to be, and that is a grounding wire that's then connected to this sort of circuitry that is put in the bass, so there's not a lot of unnecessary humming and stuff. And if you've ever replaced a bridge on a bass, you'll probably see that little wire sticking up. Now, what's really cool about the bridge that we're putting on this bass is it's quite a historical moment, because Warwick has always had another type of bridge, another style of bridge, which is good if you want a particular sound, but not good if you want the sound that I'm after. And notice how this bridge is made by a company called All Parts. It's called the Omega Bass Bridge, and this is the new Badass 2. It is the exact design from the Badass 2 that was built by Leo Kwan way back in the 70s that everybody used. That was the industry standard bridge. In my opinion, the Badass was like the wheel. And you can't reinvent the wheel, but everyone tried to. And you ended up with all these different companies doing copies of what they thought was a copy in the Badass, but they couldn't copy it exact because Badass had the patent for it. All Parts has now purchased the patent, and this is an exact copy, and they're so smart not to screw with the design of this, because this is, in my opinion, the best bass bridge that was ever designed. And it is an absolute incredible what it does to the sustain and everything on this instrument. So this is historical because the first Warwick bass with a Badass style bridge on it. Now you can see here that the pickups are being wired in, and these are the Aguilar Super Doubles. And I love these pickups. These are my favorite pickups. They just have a very nice sound. I love the way those pickups are voiced. Here in this clip, you can see the tuning pegs are being attached, and these are the sort of these are Warwick design tuning pegs, but they're this sort of light design. And you can see here there's a little piece of wood that gets placed in there as to line up the tuning pegs perfect to those angles. And they have this sort of slanted angle for easier access tuning on the fly. It's a very cool design. You tune it very easily when you're on a gig. And, you know, from the standpoint of when you're holding the bass. Now, I only got some limited footage, so I didn't have any footage of where the actual circuit was installed, but you can see the circuit's been installed, and there's a 5-knob system here. There's 2 stacked knobs. The first one is master volume and passive tone, and then the second stacked knob is the high and low mid. And with the high mid, I mainly want to use it as a cut set around the 2K mark, and that's kind of the horrible mids that I hate in a bass sound. And they're particularly good to cut if you are doing any kind of slapping. And that's set at quite a narrow bandwidth. And then the low mids are more down to sort of 400 hertz area. And that's a boost and cut as well. And then there's bass and treble. Treble's set at 10K, I think, and the bass is set somewhere down around 46 hertz, something like that. You can see the strings are being put on the bass, and I'm going to be using these Warwick coated EMP strings, and I haven't actually tried these strings yet, but if I like them, I'm going to be using these from now on, because I've heard great things about them. And that has like a tapered low B string as well. So you can see that sort of adjusting the action here on that bridge. And boy, does that bass look amazing. I don't know if you noticed on the headstock the JHB logo there that you can see. Very cool. You can see just how easy that is to tune with that slant. A lot of people, when they just look at those slanted tuners, they don't like them because it's a unique design, but they're very cool when you've got the bass in your hand. And sort of setting it up, I like a sort of medium-low action on my bass. Not too high, but not too low. Don't like it absolutely flatlined, but I do like a low action. And also, something that we didn't get to see in the footage was them putting the actual frets in the bass, but those frets are mandolin fret wire. I tried a Lee Scalar signature bass that Warwick had when I went to the factory, and he had this really small mandolin fret wire inserted into his signature bass, and I said, I've got to have these. It's the playability on that is just like off the hook. So I really look forward to getting this, and I'm a bit jealous watching this guy play this bass, but you know, he's working, he's setting it up, a little slap in there, get a sound. Now this is very cool. Okay, so what this is the truss rod cover that's made from a matching piece of bird's eye maple, and then it's being laser engraved with the words Fortress 1. I just heard from Warwick, and they're shipping this bass out to me today, so I should have it by Friday, and hopefully if all goes well, I'll be able to get a video uploaded to unveil this instrument to you sometime next week. I want to give a huge shout out to Marcus Spangler and his team of experts who put this instrument together for me, along with all the important people at Warwick behind the scenes, including Nico, Stephanie, Patrick, Tortoise, and Kelly. And last but not least, the brains and the brawn behind Warwick, my longtime friend and bass brother H.P. Wilfer, and his lovely wife Flo for believing in me in the first place and making this project happen. Thank you so much, guys.